Picture this. It's January 5th, 1914. You're a factory worker in Detroit. You're probably making around $2.30 a day for a grueling 9-hour shift. Life is tough. The work is monotonous, repetitive, and dangerous. The turnover rate at your factory, the Ford Motor Company, is a staggering 370%. Workers are constantly quitting, and the company is always scrambling to train replacements, which costs a fortune and slows down production. Then one morning, everything changes. News breaks that Henry Ford, the man behind the revolutionary Model T, has just made an announcement that will send shockwaves not just through Detroit, but across the entire world. He's doubling the daily wage for his male workers to $5 a day. Not only that, but he's also cutting the workday from 9 hours to 8. It sounds too good to be true. It sounds insane. In fact, many of Ford's own executives and fellow industrialists thought he had lost his mind. The Wall Street Journal even called the plan an economic crime. But this wasn't an act of charity. It was one of the most brilliant and cold-blooded business decisions in history. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the story of Henry Ford's $5 workday. Was it a generous gift to the working class, or a calculated move to build an empire? Let's unravel the genius and the controversy behind a decision that forever changed the relationship between companies and their employees. To truly understand the impact of the $5 day, we need to go back to the Highland Park plant, Ford's massive factory. This is where the magic and the misery happened. In 1913, Ford had perfected the moving assembly line. Before this, a single worker might assemble a large part of a car. Now, the car chassis moved along a conveyor, and each worker performed just one or two simple, repetitive tasks. This innovation was incredible for productivity. The time it took to build a Model T plummeted from over 12 hours to just 93 minutes. Ford could churn out cars faster and cheaper than anyone else. But there was a huge human cost. The work was mind-numbingly dull and physically exhausting. Imagine standing in one spot, doing the exact same motion, hundreds of times an hour, for 9 hours straight. The noise was deafening, the pace was relentless, and the pressure was immense. Workers were treated like cogs in a machine, were timed, monitored, and pushed to their limits. So, the $5 day wasn't born out of pure altruism. It was a strategic solution to a massive business problem. First, it was designed to stabilize his workforce. By offering a wage that was double the industry average, Ford made a job at his factory the most desirable blue-collar position in America. Why would you quit a $5 a day job when you could only make $2 or $3 anywhere else? The high turnover rate plummeted almost overnight. The experienced workers stayed, becoming more efficient and skilled at their specific tasks, which further boosted productivity. The announcement created an absolute frenzy. The very next day, an estimated 10,000 men swarmed the gates of the Highland Park plant, desperate for a job. The crowd was so massive and unruly that the Detroit police had to be called in, and they even used fire hoses to disperse the hopeful applicants in the freezing January weather. It was a scene of both hope and desperation, a testament to just how life-changing that $5 wage was. Suddenly, Ford had his pick of the best, most reliable workers available. But there was a catch. A very big one. The $5 a day wasn't for everyone, and it came with strings attached. This is where the story gets more complicated. To qualify for the full wage, workers had to be with the company for at least 6 months. And more controversially, they had to meet the standards of Ford's newly created sociological department. Yes, you heard that right. The company had a department that would essentially investigate your personal life. Investigators or advisors would visit workers' homes to ensure they were living a proper life. What did that mean? It meant you couldn't drink too much. You couldn't be in debt. Your home had to be clean. You had to be saving money, preferably in a Ford-approved bank. Your wife couldn't work outside the home. You had to be sending your children to school. Essentially, Ford was using the promise of a high wage to mold his workers into his ideal vision of a sober, thrifty, and responsible American citizen. Again, if you failed to meet these standards, you were put on probation. If you didn't improve, you were fired or had your pay cut back to the standard rate. This level of corporate intrusion into private lives is unthinkable today, but it was a key part of Ford's plan. He believed that a stable, well-behaved worker was a productive worker. He wasn't just building cars, he was building a certain type of man, a certain type of society. This paternalistic approach was heavily criticized, even back then, as an invasion of privacy and an attempt to control every aspect of an employee's existence. But for thousands of workers, especially immigrants trying to assimilate into American life, it was a trade-off they were willing to make. The sociological department even offered English language classes and lessons on American customs. For them, the $5 wage wasn't just money. It was a ticket to a better, more stable, middle-class life. Now let's talk about the economic genius of this move. Ford wasn't just creating loyal employees, he was creating customers. This is perhaps the most brilliant part of the whole strategy. By paying his workers enough money to actually afford the product they were building, he was expanding his own market. A Ford worker making $5 a day could save up and buy a Model T, which at the time cost around $400 to $500. It was a revolutionary concept, turning your labor force into your consumer base. This created a virtuous cycle, where sales meant more production, which meant more jobs, which meant more sales. This principle, later dubbed Fordism, helped create the American middle class. It established the idea that mass production should be paired with mass consumption, and that workers should be paid a living wage that allows them to participate in the economy. Other companies, which initially scorned Ford, were eventually forced to follow suit. They had to raise wages and improve conditions to compete for the best workers and to prevent their own employees from unionizing or going on strike. The $5 day set a new benchmark for industrial labor in America. The results for the Ford Motor Company were staggering. Despite doubling wages, the company's profits also doubled, from $30 million in 1914 to $60 million in 1916. The increased efficiency and reduced turnover more than paid for the wage hike. The publicity was priceless. Henry Ford became a global icon, hailed as a hero of the working man. He transformed his public image from just another ruthless industrialist into a visionary reformer. However, it's crucial to remember the complexities. While the 8-hour day was a significant improvement, the work on the assembly line remained dehumanizing. The pressure was intense, and Ford was famously anti-union, using spies and intimidation to keep organized labor out of his factories. The sociological department, while eventually scaled back, represents a dark side of corporate overreach. And it's important to note that the $5 wage was initially only for men. Women at Ford were paid less, based on the assumption that they were not the primary breadwinners of a family. So, what is the legacy of the $5 workday? It's a powerful lesson in strategic business thinking. It shows how investing in your employees can directly benefit the bottom line. It demonstrates the profound link between wages, productivity, and consumer demand. It helped usher in an era of prosperity and created a blueprint for the 20th century American economy. But it also serves as a cautionary tale about corporate power and the fine line between benevolent guidance and invasive control. Henry Ford wasn't a saint. He was a brilliant, complex, and often contradictory figure. His $5 day was a masterstroke of public relations and economic strategy, a move that was simultaneously self-serving and socially transformative. It lifted thousands of families into the middle class while tightening the company's control over their lives. It revolutionized industry, but it didn't solve the fundamental problem of soul-crushing factory work. The story of the $5 day is more than just a historical event. It's a case study that is still relevant today. It forces us to ask questions about the role of a corporation in society. What do companies owe their employees beyond a paycheck? How do we balance productivity with human dignity? And who gets to define what a good life looks like? These are questions that Henry Ford forced America to confront in 1914, and they are questions we are still grappling with over a century later. What do you think? Was Henry Ford a hero or a tyrant? A visionary or a manipulator? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this fascinating piece of history. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.